Hey guys, a few of you have asked me about my setup in my office, like where I film and stuff and where I do my live streams, so I just wanted to give you like a really quick rundown of the gear that I use when I'm in my office and like all the equipment and stuff that I use. So the first thing is, I guess I'll just show you my desk because that's where I do all my editing and I do my live streams, and sometimes I sit at it as well when I'm like doing an unboxing or something like that. So yeah, so this is my desk. And so I recently got this Elgato Flexi arm and the pole as well. So before I used to use my Gorilla Pod and I just used to put it on the desk just right around here, but it just took up too much space, and if I wanted to have a notepad out or have my laptop out, then it just didn't give me, it just got in the way. So I got this pole, so it's basically clamped to my desk at the back there. And it's also really cool because if I do an unboxing, then I can just kind of pull this out and have the camera facing downwards, so that's really good. And a little while ago, BenQ sent me out this monitor light. It's called the Screen Bar Plus. It's actually really good because whenever I'm doing any editing and the sun starts to drop and I forget to put my lights on, then it's just too dark in here and I'm just straining my eyes. So the light doesn't come on when the light levels dropped, which would have been really nice to have, but I do kind of just have it on most of the time. So if the light levels do drop, then I have that light and I'm not straining my eyes so much. And the other cool thing is that it will adjust to the ambient temperature, the ambient light in the room. So it has this button on the left hand side and you can click that and it'll adjust the ambient light to the light in the room and the bright and the warmth as well. So that's really good. And even though I do have two monitors, I don't feel like I necessarily need another light on the other monitor because it gives me plenty of light, and I've kind of put it on the light on the monitor that I use the most anyway. So the next thing is, for my streaming, I use the Stream Deck, the Elgato Stream Deck. I do find that really useful when I'm live streaming so that I can just change between different screens in OBS. So that's really cool. And so in terms of my audio for my live stream, so I use the Shure SM7B and I use the Focusrite audio interface and then a cloud lifter. It's just really easy to use, and the audio quality from the SM7B is really good as well, so really like that mic. And yeah, the cloud lifter is just because the SM7B is actually a really quiet microphone, so you kind of need a preamp to bring the levels up. So yeah, and then in terms of my light, so I have this Aperture 120D with the really large light dome, the light dome 2, and I was going to get the light dome mini, but I wanted to have something that was going to give me as much spread of light as possible, even though I'm in quite a small space and it does take up a lot of room. But I just wanted something that was going to have a bigger surface area so that if I just wanted to flood the room with light, then I would have that. And the other thing that I use is this panel light as well. This is what I use when I'm, again, sitting at my desk and I'm live streaming, just have a bit of extra light on me. So yeah, that is pretty much my setup. I didn't actually talk about my camera. So I use the A7 III for live streaming, and I usually use it with my Sony 24GM, not even showing you, my Sony 24 1.4 G Master lens, which I love. It's just such a beautiful lens, and I tend to use my V-mount battery just so that I know that I'm not going to run out of power. Yeah, so that's basically my setup for when I'm at my desk, when I'm editing. Oh yeah, sorry, the last thing actually is my mouse. So this is I think it's a Razer Naga Trinity. or Raisin. It's either the Raisin-Naga Trinity or the Raisin-Naga, I can't remember. But I've used these mice for the past like decade probably, and they're just brilliant. I think they're great. It's really cool because you can have certain macros attached to certain buttons and different button functions and stuff, and each button can just do different things. So I find it really useful when I'm editing as well. It just makes things a lot quicker, and just when I'm working in general as well. And then the last thing, actually no, it's not the last thing, two more things, is my headphones. So I use these Audio Technica headphones, and I've just got them, I've got a little hook here just to put them on my desk. So I use these for when I'm editing as well and stuff. And also down here you can see my very, very, very messy charging station, which I really need to sort out because it's really bad. And one of the things that I kind of want to do, I saw Becky and Chris had done like a really cool, I can't remember if it was wall mounted or something, I think it was wall mounted, but it just looked really cool. So I want to try and do something like that in here, just so that I've got all the cables off the floor and it's just a lot tidier. And yeah, I guess I'll show you my PC, because why not? So this is my PC under my very messy desk. Custom built, so I can put the specs up of everything that I've got in there at the moment, but I've never had any trouble with editing like 4K footage and stuff with it. So yeah, I upgraded all my bits and pieces in there a few months ago, and ever since it's just been really cool for editing. It's just been super fast. I haven't had to necessarily use proxies a lot for my editing, so that's been really good. And I guess the last thing is when I'm in here and I'm filming, I tend to film against this wall. So a lot of the stuff that you see when I've got this dark wall is this wall. And I film against that. I painted this a few months back actually, because it was just a white wall. So I film against there, and I tend to use a teleprompter if I'm doing something which is, I guess, gonna have a lot of information that I won't necessarily remember, and I'll just keep stuttering or just going around in circles and wondering whether I've actually said something right. So I do use a teleprompter sometimes, and this is the one that I use. It's the Glide Gear. The only thing that I find is really good, but the only thing that I find kind of annoying about it is the fact that I can't necessarily use it with my rig, because I have to have that on. I can't just put it in front of my camera. I have to put my camera on top of it and kind of inside it. So it would have been really good if I actually got one where you could just kind of put it onto the front of the camera. So yeah, I might actually change it at some point, but it's not really a big deal. It just means that it's a little bit of extra setup when I do my videos, but because I batch film my videos anyway, it's not that much of a big deal, because I'm just kind of setting it up once anyway. So, but yeah, that's my setup. This is my office. This is where I do all my stuff, and yeah, I hope some of you found it useful, and all the links to everything that I've shown you are going to be in the description, so you can check everything out in there. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video.